Welcome to Logic Insight. There are facts that everyone knows, like how dinosaurs once roamed the earth, but then there are facts that most people don't know, like how sloths can hold their breath for longer than dolphins. What about the facts that everyone should know? Well, that leaves pretty much everything else. While we can't guarantee that these facts will turn you into a quizmaster, we reckon there are definitely some that you shouldn't miss. So dive into part 1 of the Ultimate Facts series that everyone should know. 1. Genghis Khan strategically married off his daughters to expand his empire. Genghis Khan only gained his title by the time he reached his 40s, at which point he had more than 10 children. Khan married his daughters to allied kings, who he would send out to war. His new sons-in-law rarely returned alive, and his daughters took control of their new kingdoms for Khan. 2. A proposed amendment to the U.S. Constitution in 1916 would have had citizens vote on all acts of war. In 1916, the United States had not yet entered World War I, but all signs pointed in that direction. The proposed amendment was submitted to Congress, along with a signed petition by Nebraska residents, but was ultimately rejected. The proposed amendment also would have ruled that anyone who voted in favor of an act of war would have to sign up as an Army volunteer. 3. A silverback gorilla could deadlift 1,800 pounds. That's 815 kilograms for you metric maniacs. To give you a better idea, the deadlift world record is just over 1,100 pounds. This should come as no real surprise, as gorillas are the largest primates in existence. 4. Costco's hot dog and soda combo has remained at the same price since 1985. If you make your way to a Costco food court, you can pick up this great deal for just $1.50. Over time, the cost price of the deal increased, but Costco countered this by opening a factory to make their own sausages. This never seemed to affect its popularity, as 151 million hot dog combos were sold in 2020. 5. A company in Japan awards non-smokers an extra 6 days of paid leave each year. It was brought to the marketing firm's attention that employees who went for smoke breaks had more than 15 minutes of extra time away from their desks each day. Instead of penalizing smokers, they came up with a creative incentive to quit smoking while keeping their non-smoking employees happy in the process. 6. In Singapore, when you turn 21, you're automatically registered as an organ donor. The Human Organ Transplant Act was first introduced in 1987 due to extremely low organ donation rates. It was only from 2009 that citizens and permanent residents were automatically registered as organ donors. You can opt out, but you may not want to, as you'll be lower on the waiting list for organs should you need a transplant. 7. Stephen Hawking was rumored to run over the toes of people he didn't like. The world-renowned physicist used a wheelchair from the age of 22 due to a severe form of motor neuron disease. This didn't stop this from having a bit of fun, crushing the toes of many who drew his ire, including the UK's Prince Charles himself. When confronted about this tendency, Hawking passed it off as a malicious rumor, before jokingly threatening to run over the toes of anyone who repeated it. 8. The Apollo missions have left 96 bags of poop, pee, and vomit on the moon. All the way back in 1969, mankind made history by walking on the moon for the first time. That wasn't the only first that happened on that momentous trip. It was also the first time literal trash was dumped on the moon. Subsequent voyages to the moon followed suit, leaving behind all their unwanted trash. But it turns out that's all for a good reason. The returning spacecraft don't have enough fuel to carry all that weight back. 9. Visitors to one of Hawaii's islands can take a shelter dog out on adventures for a day. That's right. If you head on over to Kauai in Hawaii, you can pick up a shelter dog and take it for walks on the beach, hikes, or just wander around the island. Each dog is geared up with a cute vest that advertises that the dog is for adoption. The dogs also get some much-needed exercise, which combined with their vest helps locals adopt them. 10. Samuel L. Jackson was an usher at Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral. Jackson studied at Morehouse College, where Dr. King and other prominent civil rights activists would often visit and have debates. When King was assassinated, his funeral was actually held in Morehouse College, which is how Jackson was able to be one of the funeral ushers. After this experience, Jackson became much more heavily involved in the civil rights movement. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.